first and foremost, my name is William Rubio, and I'm Chief Revenue Officer at CallTower. Thank you guys for coming out. Probably not a good idea to do karaoke the night before you're going to be a moderator, so hopefully my voice won't be too bad. But very happy and very excited about the panel that we have here for you today. We actually have three distinguished guests with us, all from basically market leaders in our industry overall, and very honored to actually have Elka from Frost & Sullivan that's going to go ahead and basically be co-monitoring, or pretty much doing more of the questions overall. So with that, I want to go ahead and just start giving it over to Elka. She's going to do a quick intro, then we're going to do our panelists, and then we're going to get into some good questions. And we hope that everybody in the audience does have some questions. We are going to leave it open for some Q&A, so if you do have some questions, please feel free to ask any of us. So we'll get started.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elka Popova. I'm the VP of Connected Work Research at Frost & Sullivan. On the Connected Work team, we cover a variety of communications and collaboration technologies, and we track the performance of all the leading platforms and the ones that are not leading, as well as we monitor customer behavior, customer trends, and we try to provide insights to both the supply side and the demand side about how to leverage technologies for a better future. So I have been covering this space for about 20 years, maybe a little more than that. I specialize in UCaaS, Unified Communications as a Service, and I have been working very closely with Cisco, Zoom, Microsoft, and other players to better understand their technology roadmap and the way they provide value to customers and partners. Our objective today is to learn more about their roadmaps and hopefully hear some tips about how partners can serve their customers better and how they can make more money for themselves. Now, I will let the panelists introduce themselves first, and then we will launch into a discussion.
Hi, everyone. My name is DP Venkatesh. I'm with Cisco and focus in the collaboration business on growth strategy. At Cisco, we are very much a partner-led organization. I think a lot of you know that already. It's something like over 90% of revenues flows through a partner, and those partners could be VARs, they could be service providers. We have a huge emphasis on managed services. If you saw some of our keynotes, we're starting to lean in on that, and then work with agents and master agents to figure out how best to address that market. So looking forward to the panel today.
Thanks. My name is Chris Carabello, Principal Program Manager for Microsoft. I've been in this industry for over 30 years, actually about 15 years at service providers, AT&T, and we launched our channel program about 21 years ago. So I've been at this event for a long time, so it's amazing to see how it's evolved and the broadening of the partner ecosystem. After that, I worked for Metaswitch, bringing business voice and unified communications to a lot of operators, including many of those who are exhibiting here today. About 3 years ago, we were purchased by Microsoft. So now supporting, driving more Microsoft services through our operators and our partners.
Hello, everybody. My name is Colby Nish. I lead up North America sales for Zoom. Prior to that, I joined Zoom about 4 years ago, building the Zoom Phone and Zoom Contact Center teams, growing that from incubation to over 5.5 million seats. Prior to that, I was at Cisco for 13 years in various roles, running video sales, collaboration strategy, and the emerging technology group. But my background prior to Cisco was in the VAR community, moving from IBM into the first Cisco partners and owning one. And DP and I were joking before, if this type of channel environment and profitability would have been there 20 years ago, I would still be doing it, and I'd be on the other side making a whole lot more money, I'm sure. So it's a pleasure to be here at the show with y'all.
Okay, I will get us started with a few questions. William will help me also ask questions to the panel. If you think our questions are way too easy, we would be very happy to receive your hard questions at the end. So start thinking about those, and please, please don't hesitate to ask them as soon as we're done with the prepared questions. So we're here with this particular group of industry experts because Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom are among the leaders in the industry. What does leadership mean? First of all, they're innovating at a very rapid pace, perhaps faster than most others, and they're gaining market share. They're winning customers, retaining customers, and so on. I am curious to hear from them what they believe is driving their success, whether it's technology, in particular features and platform capabilities, whether that's security, reliability, scalability, extensibility, that's all one category of success factors, or it's their go-to-market strategy. Perhaps they're working particularly effectively with their channel partners, or they have the right packaging and pricing, and so on. So I'm going to challenge them to answer very briefly and potentially pick just one, what they believe is the best, the most important success factor for them. So I'm going to start with DP here, just because he seems ready to answer the question.
I just look ready, Elka. So I think it's a matter, rather than, I know you said pick one, for me it's never been about features. I think it's the time and the market. So when we look at what's going on in the marketplace over the last 2 to 3 years, for those who haven't noticed, it used to be that we used to convince people, like, trust me, video conferencing is a good idea, or you can really do things from the cloud. But I think what has changed and what we've adapted to at Cisco in a go-to-market is where we're focused on is we no longer have to convince people that you can work remotely. You don't have to sit and convince somebody that all meetings should have a video component. I think the 3 companies on stage have shown that this is already available. I think now the focus is on what's the right channel, what's the right go-to-market motion to win this market. So at Cisco, for example, just to talk about what we're doing is, look, we have a very large base of customers on the calling side, between our call manager base and our BroadSoft acquisition, close to 100 million seats across several providers that are now looking at the next generation of collaboration. So it used to be they just wanted a phone, and whether you sold them a phone or some capability, now all of them have spent the last 2 years, they've done video conferencing, they've answered a contact center. So look at contact centers are no longer you call them, everyone has used an app or everyone's done that. So we look at it and say, if I look at the next 3 years, we have this tremendous opportunity. I don't want to say it's on a platter, but for the 3 of us as a market, we think there's hundreds of millions of seats that are out there where people are looking at for help. And this is why I think you come in. They're saying, how do I take advantage of this at scale? So I think it's very important to focus on which channel is the right one to go after the market. And I think why we are here is I think you know your customers. They're already asking you for what it is they need to do. So for us, I think one thing we're focused on is the go-to-market strategy. How do we make it easy for agents, for master agents, for service providers, and VARs, so that when your customers ask for collaboration, you choose WebEx as a Cisco collaboration. So it's very much, I think, market-driven right now. We still need to sell. I'm not saying that you're just taking orders, but I think it's not as hard as it was 5 years ago. So.
Okay, thank you, DP. Let's go next to Chris and hear, is it features, is it partnerships? What is it?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I still have this flashback to my MBA classes many, many years ago where we were taught the 4 Ps of marketing, and it is all of them. It's product, price, promotion, and it doesn't happen unless you can take it to market, which is place. So it has to be all of them. Just taking it back a level, and DP talked about sort of the evolution of where we've gotten to this point. I think, 3 years ago, it was, okay, we have to enable people to work anywhere, anytime, remotely, coffee shops, wherever. So it's just about survival. And I think, the three of us here have really enabled, industry and work to continue. And last year was more about, a lot of the buzzword was about, hybrid working. And how do we, enable flexible working, and some people working part-time, some people working at home, wherever they may be. And what we've seen, I think, over the last year is particularly the value of partners is, kind of understanding those requirements and aligning their communications, collaborations estate to meet those new norms of working. And I think this year we're now at a phase where, we have this new norm of work. I think that hybrid working term is sort of passé, and we have this new norm of work. And, now I think, we're seeing just really tremendous growth on a Microsoft side as we've grown from, some 14 million Teams users pre-pandemic to, as we announced last week, 300 million users, not just using our capability, but now using the full breadth of the Microsoft product suite. So, we're seeing, take up and utilization of all the workloads within our suite. And, we'll talk a little bit about AI in a moment, but, continuing to add innovation and features and value, for example, with, Copilot for Microsoft 365, and, I'm just a new user myself, and it's just amazing, absolutely amazing, the power that AI is bringing to my work personally, and I think to the future of work. So, I think we've been a beneficiary of the pandemic, making the need for hybrid work and meetings more important. And now we are really, riding that to optimize work for everyone everywhere.
Thank you, Chris. And now, Colby, is there anything you disagree with here with your co-panelists, or is it the same factors driving success for Zoom?
No, I mean, I think what everyone shared is spot on. You got to do everything. It's impossible to win without, covering your bases on all those. I think I won't say necessarily different, but as far as Zoom principles, from day one, we've always focused everything around customer happiness and thinking about customer first and what is it that allows them to drive better interactions with their customers and their employees. And that's really driven down to ease of use and feature functionality. And those don't, feature functionality is great, but if it's too complex to use, if it's too complex to support and deploy, then you don't get anywhere. And so we've really focused on this time savings model. If it's simple to use, then it's actually going to drive utilization. And we've seen this throughout. When you think back through the pandemic and how terrible it was, but we stepped into that void and filled that very nicely. And I think all of us can relate to, your elementary school children joining their class, or your parent having to join, whether that was a telehealth session or church or something else, or even a grandparent. And we hear this over and over again from our customers that it just works. And so if we focus on the simplicity and the user experience, and then for our channel partners, if it's much easier to support and deploy, that allows you to drive a lot greater profitability for you, that's the winning combination in our eyes, and where we continue to focus.
Great tips from our panelists. Hopefully you can translate those into some kind of sales best practices or tips how to evolve your conversations with customers. I want to take us back here to what Chris talked about. He mentioned COVID, and we know it changed a lot of things about the way we work and the way we live, and overall how we see the world and how we leverage technology, actually, to do our jobs better. Specifically when it comes to Microsoft Teams, we know that it gained tremendous popularity during the pandemic because of the collaboration capabilities. I want to challenge Chris here to tell us whether he sees Teams Phone as a strategic area of investment for Microsoft and how he sees the role of Teams Phone in customer conversations, in conversations specifically about how customers are evolving their communications and collaboration environments.
Yeah, thanks, Elka. Yeah, I mean, phone and voice has been close to me personally. Has been involved with it for all my career, and driver of, for example, of Microsoft's acquisition of vendors in the telco space is indicative and proof points of how much we value phone and value the operators who can take that to market. I talked about really, the increasing utilization of our suite to some 300 million users, and phone is a huge area of white space for us. We have, I think, publicly announced. I have to be careful what we publicly announce, but market-leading penetration of cloud voice in the enterprise. That's growing just tremendously. We have some 80 million using it for internal collaboration. So there's a lot of opportunities to bring more users to phone. So it's a massive area of investment for us, and focus and channel focus. I think we'll talk a little bit about the role of partners, but we've invested in direct routing and Operator Connect to enable more collaboration with our operator partners to bring those to market. We've announced Teams Phone Mobile, which is finally giving that FMC, that mobile native user experience for the increasing number of users just using these as their primary devices. We were recently at Enterprise Connect. Elka, I know you were there, and there were a raft of announcements from the new Teams app, which improves the user experience and performance double. A lot of phone breadth capabilities, devices, including close collaboration with our friends at Cisco to make their devices more of a first-party device with Microsoft Teams. So lots and lots of feature innovation, lots of go-to-market enablement, particularly through our operators with Operator Connect. So a lot of positive for us in the future with Teams Phone.
I'm glad to hear that collaboration kind of centric providers like Microsoft and Zoom are focusing on evolving their cloud PBX or phone capabilities. After all, I made a career out of it. Many of you in the room probably are paying college bills with the cloud PBX sales that you have kind of made a living out of. So glad to hear that. I'm going to go back to DP now. He talked about partnerships. And it is very important to discuss the role of telcos and MSPs and other channel partners in selling cloud communication solutions and providing a holistic solution to customers. That includes the devices, the services, and when we say services, we include the cloud services, but also professional services, installation, managed services, and so on. So DP, how do you see the role of companies like CallTower in providing greater value to customers in partnership with technology developers like Cisco?
Sure. Great question. I think I can speak. Can you guys hear me okay, or do I need to hold the mic? Is that better? So all three of us on stage will agree, and this is something that we should emphasize. When I talk about Cisco being partner-driven, it's not just a saying, right? People think that when you have a cloud-based solution, it just automatically works by itself. That's not the way the industry works. We need partners, right? So when you talk about the role of someone like CallTower, they've been a partner with us for a long time, and they're what we call a full-service partner. So while the underlying platform may be Cisco, what CallTower helps us do is not only do they understand the needs of the customer, but they also understand the needs of the agent, And it could be something where, the calling platform is us, but let's say a partner is looking for PSTN or connectivity. Then that's where CallTower comes in and says they can provide the connectivity. One thing we've seen them do is even work with the larger Cisco community. We have got some of our large VARs coming to them and saying, hey, we have these opportunities, can you help us out? So we see the role of the partner as an enabler for the end-to-end solution. I think, it's the old adage about, somebody says, what are the people buying? They're buying a business outcome. So I think sometimes in the technology industry, we tend to send you, in fact, I literally have a 200-page deck I was looking on the flight, which is all the features we are building out over the next year roadmap. But at the end of the day, someone who's out there looking to buy a contact center solution or a calling solution is going to call Bill at CallTower or somebody and say, here's what's the business problem, can you help me solve it? Sometimes, depending on brand preference, they may say, look, we're a Cisco partner, can you work with us? Maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's Zoom. But I think this is why I think what I call the tip of the spear, somebody who's an agent, who's already working with them, who's already talking to them every day, understands the business problem. And we are too far removed from the day-to-day discussion of the business problem. So what we at Cisco do is, and I think Nish talks about it, right? Easy to use is what all three of us focus on from a product perspective. But easy to buy is something that you are going to deal with, right? You understand the market. We try to make it easy, and I'll be the first to say, Cisco, large company, sometimes we're not the easiest to work with, depending on where you are in the market. So we are absolutely dependent on the call towers and the agents of the world to represent us to the customer. So I think when we look at partnerships, that's how Cisco has grown. Look, we didn't get to 50 billion. Yes, we have a great sales force, but we grew through partnerships. So we're trying to figure out what is the best way to go to market, what route to market serves large enterprise, mid-market, small business, public sector, and that's where I think the partner is very, very important to our success.
Thank you, DP. Chris, direct routing and operator connect have been extremely successful for Microsoft, specifically, of course, for Teams Phone. How do you see the role of partners like CallTower in these programs? What value do they bring to customer implementations?
Yeah, I think DP touched upon this. That it's just a program, but the ability to deliver a solution to a given business is really where an operator comes in and adds the most value. And I think CallTower and others on the show floor have really recognized that it's not just about pipes are us or phone for $15 or $14, 20% spiffs versus 25% spiffs. The new world is about selling that solution and selling that value, and consulting with that given business or enterprise, and then understanding how are you using communications, how are you using collaboration, where is your workforce, how do I best serve them? Do you have users with Teams? Do you have users with Cisco? Do you have users with Zoom? And really building that custom solution. So. We make it easy for the operator to connect to our powerful, Azure and cloud, and then our partners like CallTower really do the rest to enable that solution and getting differentiation by bringing that full package and recognizing that not everyone's going to buy from one supplier. So bringing that full solution, adding more value maybe around voice with contact center and other sorts of capabilities, call recording, what have you. I know you're looking at some international expansion opportunities. So there's a long way. There's lots of ways to make money with voice and with all of us as partners, right? We like to think with Microsoft, given the breadth of capability, and I just was listening to the last panel about SMB, and got all the ways that you can make money around, these collaboration and managed services. I think CallTower and others have done a nice job at evolving their business models. Say it's not just about pipes are us, it's not just about phone is us, it's not about, the latest, UCaaS spiff. It's about delivering that full value and that full solution.
Thank you, Chris. Colby, I think Zoom is kind of newer to the concept of telco partnerships, although we've been doing it with meetings. Perhaps with Zoom Phone, it's a little bit of a new opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you're partnering with CallTower and other telcos to bring value to customers?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's important to understand that probably everyone in this room has a totally different business model, and we can't just brush and say, everyone, here's the channel. There are so many different paths through the channel to the vendor, and focused on, what is the value you're driving to your customers. Some of you are from a carrier perspective, and you bring your value. Some of you have, full solutions, providing PSTN, providing deployment services, putting deals on their paper. And some of you have a great relationship and been in the industry for decades, and allowing you to leverage that network and the value add you do to provide those solutions for you. And for us, we've tried to meet the channel in each of those areas. And some areas we've done better. I have to go check, but I think with every TSD, we're number one, if not number two, at a couple. So we've had tremendous success through the referral business model. Where we have a lot of room for growth is around the traditional VAR SI business model. And we've made a lot of investments this last year, changing out our channel leadership, putting together the right spiffs and relationships in there, where now we have distributors and we have partners like CallTower that can provide that end-to-end solution. But what gets me really excited about CallTower is, we meet in different places in the market. So, they have their own channel that's coming through, and they're providing those services. They also have a direct team. And when we look at providing PSTN services, CallTower is a Zoom Phone native reseller. They're a bring your own carrier. They're a provider exchange partner. They're able to service globally those countries where we may not have that service today, but they're also able to package that up in a full solution that's beyond just, as you talk about PSTN or phone, that's one piece. That's actually my biggest challenge at Zoom is getting customers beyond, oh yeah, we know you use Zoom meetings, right? It's amazing, it helps us. But we have transformed to a full platform, whether that's phone, that's video, that's chat, that's email and calendar and contact center the last year and a half. Getting to that point requires a breadth of partners that are out there sharing that messaging out in the field and meeting hand to hand with those customers to drive that value. So very excited about CallTower.
Thank you, Colby. I'm going to pass it over to William because as a partner, I'm sure he has questions about the innovation roadmap for all three vendors.
This is the first time I'm at a panel that I am the quietest up here on the panel, so it's actually nice. But I think, in all seriousness, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think the success of Cisco, Microsoft, and Zoom is really partners like CallTower. The fact that we're able to show the value of your solutions, take it a step further by providing the managed services, the professional services, and really doing a deeper dive, with our customers to make all of our platforms successful overall. So I appreciate the partnership, and I think you should all partner with CallTower. I think that's kind of the message. But in addition to that, all seriously, let's do a little bit of a shift. I want to go ahead and I want to shift over and talk about contact center. So contact center, everyone up on the panel has really taken kind of a different position as far as go-to-market with contact center overall. So I'd like to hear, what's the role that you see of CCaaS playing within your core platforms overall? So Chris, we'll start with you. We're just going to mix it up. So if that's all right, we'll start with you on that.
Sure, yeah. I think I alluded to the additional value that one, particularly an operator, can attach to broadband and basic phone and other communications modalities that are necessary within a given business, and certainly contact center is one of them. There's also the fact that it's a less mature space, at least cloud contact center. So while cloud voice is a little bit more penetrated, particularly in Western markets, there's a lot of opportunities for contact center. From a Microsoft perspective, it's really twofold. One, we've done a lot of investment in our first-party offering. I mean, we already had, just a broad range of B2C capabilities, in terms of, Microsoft Dynamics 365. We, acquired Nuance for not a small sum, and integrating our various B2C capabilities to deliver, our Microsoft Digital Contact Center as a first-party service, tightly integrated with the full stack of Microsoft Teams and M365. And then in addition to that, we know that there's a lot of players out there, and I think we probably have the deepest and set of partner certified solutions in the space. So, Cisco Contact Center, and actually I think we're 19 or so that are either certified or pending certification for integration with Microsoft Teams. So we have a strong third-party motion. We have a strong and growing first-party motion as well. And, for our partners, it's just, more share of wallet that you can earn from a given business.
So DP, I'll go to you now. Similar question, a little bit different because you guys had a lot of different versions of contact center that were prem-based with UCCX, et cetera, and now really focusing on WebEx Contact Center. How do you look at that role with WebEx Calling? That obviously it's a big push on both ends.
Sure. I think the contact center space is probably the next big area where we're going to see the biggest growth and the most revenue opportunity for everyone in the room. I think at Cisco, and then I think Chris talked about this, right? We have a very large market share in the contact center business today in the on-prem side. So Cisco Contact Center in the up-market, mid-market area. So what we're seeing in the marketplace is a couple of key things. One is, without sharing specific numbers, I'd say a third of our contact center opportunities are calling opportunities disguised as contact center opportunities, or contact center opportunities that are disguised as calling opportunities. So we're starting to see this go-to-market motion where companies are looking for help in figuring out their contact center capability. That's one. So it's both calling and contact center together, which is why I think you've seen a lot of companies talk about, platforms that can do more than one thing. So I think we are uniquely positioned in the sense that we have a huge calling base and a contact center base. So what we've done with the WebEx platform is calling plus contact center plus CPaaS. That's kind of where we think there's a huge opportunity. The second thing that I see in the market that I want to share with you is the contact center market used to be called the call center, as we all know, Bill. It used to be the call center, and it's become the contact center. But now it's actually become an experience center where every one of us knows that, I talk about I fly United. I used to go call them to change my flight. Then I used to go to a portal. I don't know when the last time I talked to United. I just used the app. So what has changed is the market is saying, I want to be able to call you, text you, email you, go to your app, maybe use WhatsApp depending on the market. So I think we're seeing this market asking us, how do I work with you as a company? So it says contact center, but really it's a customer experience problem that they're trying to solve. And this is where I think the partners matter the most, right? We need partners to build the integrations. We need partners to connect. I mean, some of them we provide out of the box. So when we go to market with contact center, we're very much relying on everything from the low-end contact center, I just want a call routing capability or a queuing capability, to, I'm United Airlines and I've got 50,000 agents. But it's not just people who are calling United, but they say, hey, how do I also address the fact that we have SMS, we have WhatsApp, we have all of these new mediums by which customers are contacting us. So a lot of the conversations we're having in mid-market about is more than one channel, right? So that's why I think the contact center is really changing. And that's opening up a lot of opportunities. Look, we're not going to do the application development on top of the platform. We open it up, and that's why I think partners like you and the others have a huge opportunity there for making money.
Well, I think you're definitely showing how long we've been in the industry when you and I are probably the only ones that know it as call center back in the day, because it's now contact center for a while. So, Colby, a little bit different, right? You guys actually built Zoom Phone from the ground up. You had unfortunately, an unsuccessful acquisition of a contact center, and you started building contact center from the ground up, and it's been pretty successful over the last 6 months. So tell us a little bit more about how you see that role playing with Zoom Phone.
Yeah, thank you. And similar to the Microsoft approach with the third party, when we went to market from day one with Zoom Phone, we built out cloud-to-cloud integrations with the 5 contact center Magic Quadrant leaders at the time. So your Five9, Genesys, and Contact, Talkdesk, Twilio. And that we saw the convergence of UC and CCaaS coming together fairly quickly. And you're right, we went down one path of acquisition, but at the same time, we had been busy building. And we launched Zoom Contact Center last February. It's been on fire. If you looked at Contact Center 3 months ago, I mean, every month there's 40 to 70 to 80 different feature releases. While we were at Enterprise Connect, we announced our workforce engagement management platform. And this is an area that I think is so ripe for disruption. This is the perfect timing, just like cloud calling was 4 years ago. When we look at contact center and the amount of customers with pain that are sitting on-prem that don't have the capabilities to deliver self-service capabilities that all customers are asking for. Kind of like what DP mentioned about United. How many of you want to sit on the phone and wait for an agent? When was the last time you actually did that? And then when you did, like, where the hell's the callback option? And like, why am I even doing this? Like, I just want to go and get online and hit a chat bot. Well, if you're going to do that, why not have conversational AI built on intent based into that you actually know who I am and what I'm here for? And that's really what our Zoom virtual agent is from an acquisition we made last year around Solvi, which integrates to all those contact centers, but has a really unique experience with Zoom where, yeah, if I can, I'm going to get that question answered. And we're seeing customers in the 60% all the way up to our own support is 94% self-service on that first customer interaction solved through a conversational AI bot. But where it's not, like, I need to integrate that, whether that's an ITSM, that's a CRM, and being very, very open. And this is where we're really excited about how you can transform that employee experience for the agents, where they are now working on stuff that's meaningful to them. They're not doing the remedial work. But when it gets to them, they have all that information to have a great customer experience and solve problems. And at the end of the day, it's about driving that NPS and the CSAS scores. And we're having tremendous fun and success there. We had I don't know if you saw it, but we did an awesome job with Major League Baseball. I actually reminded to go put that on Twitter and LinkedIn today. But they have deployed this for all Major League Baseball TV. You got 1,500 agents that are out there taking those subscriptions. But inside the game, it's really transforming baseball, which is unheard of. Like when you go to the replay center and you have these umps, they're actually in a contact center queue, and you can actually hear the feedback of them reviewing this. It's just transformational to what we're seeing, the whole customer experience platform transformed to help answer the questions that we all have.
You hit on one topic there that I think is on everyone's mind out here overall, and we're all sales professionals, right? We want to drive the right solution to our customers. We want to make money, right? Pay our kids for college and so forth at the same time and put food on our table. So AI, right? We all know that AI is starting to play a big part of everyone's life, and we hear it every day. We have customers that call and say, I want AI. We say, okay, what do you want to do with it? Oh, I don't know, I just want it, right? Which is kind of funny at times. So how do you see AI playing a role? And DP, I'm going to start with you. How do you see AI playing a role overall, whether it be related to WebEx calling or contact center or just in the industry overall? It's critical. So how do you see the role on that?
Yeah, I think AI is something that, almost everyone now, thanks to ChatGPT, everyone's like, what are you doing with AI? And act as if it's something that happened in the last 3 months. But if you take a look back, I'll speak for, I know with Microsoft and the others, is we've been working on AI for a long time. I think the industry finally had its sort of coming out party, and then they just had this event in the last quarter. But if you go back, and Elka, this is about an example of where Cisco's been focused on is specifically around 3 areas, right? So audio intelligence, video intelligence, and say camera intelligence. So we bought a company called Babel Labs, I want to say 3 years ago, a bunch of Stanford PhDs, and they were working on noise cancellation and noise removal from audio streams. we started off removing the noise in meetings. So you're on a WebEx meeting, and then the dog's barking, and then we removed it. Saw a funny stat. I think we're coming up to close to 100 billion minutes of noise removal on the platform. And I always wonder, where's all this removed noise sitting in cloud storage somewhere? But the point is, when we did it, and this is why sometimes I think AI sounds a bit like a buzzword, but it's going to be transformational for us as an industry. And why we're investing in it is, so that's a small thing such as noise removal or voice cancellation. But the way we look at AI is we build AI into the platform. So it's not an afterthought of one little piece that you can do. So because we've incorporated AI into the WebEx platform, what started off as noise removal in meetings, we now made it available in WebEx Calling. So every call that you make on WebEx Calling has this capability. Then the next step we did was we said, what if one of them is on WebEx Calling, but the other person's calling in from a mobile or a PSTN? So we said, how do we figure that out? It's the same AI. But then back to contact center, now you're saying people are calling in from their car, or the agent is sitting at home. So you could see the thread of AI is what makes us differentiate anything that's on the WebEx platform to a significant degree. So my view on AI and the way Cisco is investing in it is very specific business outcomes. So in audio intelligence, on video intelligence, how do I make everybody in a room appear in a certain way with video intelligence? One other area we're looking at is something called MARI, which is media adaptive resilience. So we're saying, what if some people are on low bandwidth? How do you make the video call, the audio call better for those people? And then finally, I think on cameras, we're working with Microsoft as well, is our Cisco devices, we believe, are the best devices in the market. So everything from, you have, let's say this was also a webinar or a video call. You'll see the four of us, maybe in frame, but then if it was a three-way people, you have a camera here and a camera here, how do you stitch all of that together? So those are the kinds of things from an AI perspective. It's very much business outcome of AI. Otherwise, people are just, typing in homework lessons and trying to cheat on exams and stuff like that. Our focus is very much what's the business outcome.
I wish I would have had it when I was in school. Would have helped. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I see we have a little timer warning there, but yeah, I think we've been in this space, all of us, for quite some time, and it was, what's the next big thing? And people talk about AI and ML, and we talk about noise canceling, which we've done, and natural language processing and sentiment analysis, but I tell you, I think with ChatGPT 4. And Microsoft's inclusion of that capability into our Copilot for GitHub to create code, with Bing search, with M365. I mean, I'm almost a student, again, and I think this is the most transformational, capability that I've come across in my many years, from my first experience with the internet to my first experience with the cloud to this. So. I'm just awed by our experience. So I think we're going to see just an amazing amount of use cases and ideation just happening really, really quickly, because the technology's out there. And again, I've just been using Copilot just for the last month or so, and it's awe-inspiring. But getting it back to the channel is all right, how can I apply this capability to make my business more productive, right? For me personally, I changed organizations, so I'm involved in like a lot of new meetings. So how do I catch up on what's going on? AI is very impactful for me. You're going to find industry use cases. You're going to find frontliner use cases. You're going to find a lot of different use cases where these capabilities can add value. We built it into M365. We built it into GitHub. We built it into Bing. And you're going to take that now, those capabilities, and find new use cases and derive more value from the delivery of those.
All right, well, Colby, no pressure. We're going to try to get to one more round of questions. So if you could keep it short and sweet.
Got it. You got it. So when I look at AI, you look at the promise of time saving and productivity derived from the capabilities. From a tangible side of what we're working on in Zoom, you'll see is around smart summaries. So giving back you time. You know, you join a meeting, you come in a half hour late. You know, it happens. We're all double booked at times. Sure, it's nice to have a summary of exactly what was discussed. Or as that meeting finishes, send me the cliff notes, send me the chapters, send me exactly to that point in time where that competitive word was mentioned or where the sentiment analysis changed. You know, these are areas that really drive productivity. You know, smart compose. We all sit in these chat channels all day, and I don't know about the rest of you, it's like thousands of messages that show up in there. I don't have time to read those serially all the way through there. So seeing a smart summary and then being able to click a smart compose to put that message together. The one thing I would just add, I mean, we all have technology, but what I hear from customers is a lot of fear as well. Right? No one wants to go give up their data set to train your AI model. And so we've really focused around a federated model where customers can bring in their AI platform of choice, which some of them have their own large language models they've been working on and their own security controls. And I think that's what's going to be super critical as we look going forward is it's not just the Wild West and it's not just homework, but it's how do we derive outcomes that drive efficiencies in their business.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Hopefully, this information was very useful to the audience. We're going to jump right into audience questions. We had a few more prepared here, but we don't have time for those. So do we have any really hard questions? No softballs anymore.
Hello. Hi, this is Steve Jeklich. I'm a channel director with CallTower, and I have a question kind of specifically for DP at Cisco. You know, my message has been to this group of sellers that you now have the ability to sell a Cisco solution, selling the licensing and PSTN, you know, because historically Cisco has been selling only to the VAR community. So my question is,
I'm sorry, the audio is really bad. Is there a way to maybe keep it a little bit away and talk, or?
okay,
Can you?
is that better? My question to you, DP, is how are you getting to this group of sellers in this room that you haven't historically sold to in the past because you've been predominantly selling through the VAR community, and you've got this entire group of sellers that you haven't been really selling through. What is Cisco's goal to reach this community of sellers? I mean, this is the place, right? This is, you know, channel partners where you've got agents, TSDs. How are you getting this message out that you can sell your solutions through partners like CallTower?
Yeah, I think the question was, what is our plan to reach this community in terms of the agents and partners that are in this room? First, I'm shown up to meet all of you, so that's step one. But I think there's two pieces to your question. One is we do have a large seller organization or sellers. So first thing we're also making sure is that they're aligned with any new route to market, whether they're, you know, in the past VARs and service providers. But I think from an agent perspective, we're looking at two models. One is through our existing partners. So we have partners like CallTower and others who have agents, so we may go through them. And then other cases also looking at master agent relationships that we've formed. But at the end of the day, what we want is to make sure that you as agents are aware that, you know, we have the best platform, and then you may choose a specific master agent or a way you actually get to us. That's kind of what we do. So a lot of the emphasis, and I know Alexandra and the others who spoke earlier this morning are really like, we are making a huge investment in managed services is what the market wants. We see our products bundled in with managed services as being the way Cisco products are consumed in the future. A lot of that will happen with an agent that is bundling things together. So you'll see us do more and more programs that are targeted towards the agent community. But I'd love to follow up separately as well so I can connect you with some of the people who are building out our agent outreach programs as well. So we're starting that in a very active manner. Yeah, I hope I answered the question, but I'll follow up as well.
Hi, I'm Elliot Robinson from Robinson Management Service. Question on spam and scams. How are the major UCaaS players dealing with this for both voice as well as SMS and MMS? Thank you.
The question was around spam and what we're doing about, as an industry, dealing with this kind of, was that the question, correct? You take a cut at it. I think from our perspective, look, there's a lot of emphasis, everything from legal intercept and things like that, where we're always looking at what can we provide to the end user from a perspective. So we're building into WebEx Calling as a platform, everything from list of numbers that you want to say no longer can call. We're sharing that a lot with our service provider community, so we do a lot of work with the Verizons and the AT&Ts of the world. So in that area, we are doing a lot of work, everything from robocalls and preventing that. We're not that much in the actual email and that side of it, but maybe, Chris, you might have some comments on that.
Yeah, I'm coming from the more the voice perspective. So, I think the regulatory regimes in most of the world now are seeking to address, robocall blocking and Canned Spam Act, and but there's always nefarious folks who will find ways to get around that. So, we, Teams Phone, as well as our Metaswitch platform, has robocall blocking. I think the fact that some still get through, indicates that, perhaps the stir shaken capabilities, still can be improved from a calling perspective. But we are meeting those, those global requirements to try to enforce that, and ultimately giving a highly secure solution for our customers.
I would just add, from a SMS, MMS side, definitely 10DLC and the cellular providers out there are truly helping. I know it makes it a little complex for customers to set up a campaign, so we've tried to focus on simplicity there. And then we've had this beta for spam protection for it seems like 2 years now. That's finally gone GA, which was giving our customers the controls to say hey, if this is marked as spam, then do I put some levers in place where if I get 2 of those calls marked, just block that call? And unfortunately, it puts that back into the end user's hands. But this is an area where we use AI machine learning to start identifying those. We also identifying voicemail messages left, yeah, it's a car warranty. Okay, that person's definitely spam. Let's remove them from future calls. So it's definitely an area we can do better, and I think you'll see that improve here soon.
Any more questions from the audience?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you for the questions on that. I also want to thank Elka from Frost & Sullivan and DP from Cisco, Chris from Microsoft, and Kobe from Zoom for what I think was a good panel. I know I learned something, so I appreciate that. So, guys, thank you very much. A round of applause for them for helping out. If you do have any questions on CallTower or any of the platforms, just reach out to us at letsconnect@calltower.com, and we're more than happy to help you. Thanks, everybody.